Hey everyone, this is Tamara and welcome to Book Chat Live and thanks for watching. Today I'm chatting with Linda Bradley, the author of women's fiction title Maggie's Way, first in the Montana Bound series. Be sure to hit that subscribe button because every Sunday, almost every Sunday through the end of July, I'll be here featuring live interviews with authors that are signed up to attend Rust City Book Con. If you don't know what that is, be sure to check out the link below or go to rustcitybookcon.com. Without further ado, hey Linda, welcome. Thanks for taking time out to chat with us today.
Hey Tamara, how are ya?
I'm fabulous on this gloomy, then sunny, then gloomy again day.
And stay sunny, right?
I know. It's like the weather can decide what it wanted to do. Right now it looks like it's going to start storming again.
Oh, we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Oh, I know. I told you a little earlier I lost power. So let's just cross our fingers that nothing happens in the next 30 minutes. So let's get this thing started. Okay, shall we? So, I always like to start with asking what you're reading right now. So please feel free to share with us what's on your TBR list, what you're reading before you go to bed.
Right now I have Kim Boykin's novel called Palmetto Moon.
What's that about? I haven't heard of that title.
It is about a young woman who is in a well-to-do family and she decides that she does not want to marry the person that her father has chosen for her, so she runs away. And she obviously doesn't tell anybody her real identity, and she's from Charleston. So she's kind of hanging out doing the regular person thing until somebody finds her, and obviously there's a love interest in the story.
Oh, cool. So it's kind of a romance. All right. Mm-hmm. Fun stuff. So since we're talking about books and things like that, so can you tell us a little bit about maybe what books and or authors, you feel may have influenced your writing style a little bit, or, if you have any favorite authors, share those as well.
I have lots of favorite authors. I obviously can't name them all, but Jane Porter has been a big influence for me. I've read a lot of Claire Cook. I love Tracy Chevalier. I really like reading Stephen King's book On Writing. I go back to that one a lot. Lou Anne Rice.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of those. Yeah. They're all pretty good authors, yes, especially Stephen King, right? That's kind of an oddball with that mix, right?
I know. I was thinking about it, and I thought, but you know what? I really like him. And when I read that book On Writing, I wasn't really sure what I was going to find out, and I just love that book. Just to hear his personal voice as opposed to his stories is very interesting to me.
That's cool. Well, I haven't read that one, but maybe I should add that to my list. So tell us a little bit about, what inspired you to start writing? Like, in general, what made you want to pick up the pen?
Well, I picked up the pen a long time ago as a child. In our elementary school, we had something called the Calberry writing contest every year. And it was something that our district kind of made up. They took the word Calberry, they took the word Newberry, they smushed it together, and they came up with Calberry. But it was, I wrote as a child, as a youngster, through college. But it wasn't until my kids actually were grown that I thought, you know what, it's time to be published.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you did, and you did get published indeed, because we are here talking about your first book, Maggie's Way, which is the first in the Montana Bound series. So let's jump in and talk a little bit about Montana Bound Book 1. So Maggie's Way, tell me a little bit about, like, how many books are planned for the series? What kind of made you want to title this Montana Bound, and a little bit about what book 1 is about.
I'm going to start by answering that question with, when I originally wrote Maggie's Way, I thought this is going to be a single title. And I got to the end of it, about ready to type the end, and I thought, you know what, this is not over. And John McIntyre, who lives next door, who's one of the main characters, his father is a rancher in Montana. And something just clicked in my head, and I'm like, okay. So book 2 is called Maggie's Fork in the Road, and book 3 will be Maggie's Montana.
Okay, so it's a 3-book trilogy, right?
Yes.
Fabulous. So, okay, so Maggie's Way takes place in Michigan.
Correct.
Okay, fabulous. So will I see places I recognize in there? Well,
perhaps. It's
perhaps.
Her hometown is Grosse Pointe, and you might recognize some of the places there.
Oh, that's cool. Actually, my brother-in-law and his fiance live in Grosse Pointe, so I might. So, okay, so go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, I said I raised my kids there. I lived in Grosse Pointe for over 20 years, and a few years ago I got remarried and moved to Royal Oak, but my heart's pretty near and dear to Grosse Pointe.
Oh, well, that's cool. So this series is obviously women's fiction and maybe a tad of romance from what I understand. So I guess there's some reasons behind what made you choose to write women's fiction. Let's talk about those drivers a little bit. So we know this is an adult, and we know our protagonist, Maggie, is a little older, and she's had some hardships. Can you tell me a little bit about Maggie's character?
Maggie is middle-aged. She's a school teacher, and she is trying to spend her summer recuperating from cancer. The house next door is empty. John McIntyre and his 7-year-old daughter, Chloe McIntyre, move in, and Chloe is somewhat of a pesky, precocious little girl, and she ends up at Maggie's house quite a bit, and they end up bonding.
Oh, that's really cute. So, okay, so you mentioned that Maggie is recuperating from cancer. What made you use that as one of the drivers behind, what's going on with her?
Well, not to be cliche, but 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I knew that being published was something on my list of things to do after my children graduated from high school. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to write what I know. So I kind of gave Maggie the same scenario, breast cancer, that I had. Mm-hmm. It was kind of my catalyst. Mm-hmm. My therapy, my catalyst, everything all wrapped up together, and it just clicked for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously you have won that battle with cancer, right?
Yes, I have.
Yes, fabulous. That is fabulous news, and I'm so happy to hear it because these books have essentially, kind of like you said, were your therapist a little bit, kind of, helped you out, like venting and all these, whatever you needed to do, these books were there for you. And as a reader, we all appreciate that, even though it was a hardship for you to get to these books, the end result, it's awesome. It's awesome that you were able to pull something positive out of that. And it's very inspirational.
It's one special thing I get to do with Maggie's Way. The Race for the Cure just happened May 21st, a couple weekends ago, and I was able to work with them. And in July, Maggie's Way will be part of their what's the word I'm searching for? They're going to give away Maggie's Way to people who reach a certain level of donation. So I'm really excited about sharing it with people who have gone through the same thing as I have.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really awesome. That's great. So let's kind of switch gears just a little bit and talk about Chloe and John. You mentioned that Chloe seems to be, I guess, the glue that probably brings Maggie and John together, maybe. Or, that kind of makes Maggie look at John, maybe, who knows. But, what made you use, a young girl as that, instead of a teenager or another age, young lady as the go-between between Maggie and John?
I chose Chloe because I actually teach second grade. Mm-hmm. And second grade, I've been there a long time, and it's my favorite age children. And I get the question quite often, is Chloe representative of one particular child that you've known in your career? And my answer is always no. She's kind of like all the children rolled up into one character that I've known over the years, and it's pretty amazing the insight that these little people have.
Yeah, that's the truth. I have nieces and nephews, and they're so cute at that age, and they just say the craziest things, and they mean it like so sincerely and so seriously. You know, like how their brain works. It's amazing. So I could see how, yes, Maggie could totally be drawn to such a little cute person, and vice versa, because she has a lot of knowledge. Probably. Do you think Maggie is instantly takes to Chloe, or do you think maybe it's a minute for her to kind of get used to the little girl hanging around?
Well, at first, Maggie's like, oh boy, you know, Summer's here. This is not what I had intended, and really wants to be pretty introverted and be by herself. Mm-hmm. So Chloe, I'm going to call them intrusions, happen frequently, and eventually she grows in Maggie.
Okay, cool. So what about John? How does he play into this whole thing? I mean, is there instant attraction there, or not so much? Or
no, he's pretty irritated with Maggie the first time he meets her. John is a pediatrician, and Chloe has a knack for, let's say, getting rid of the nannies or the day help that are there to watch after her. And Maggie kind of picks up the pieces and follows through with that. But no, they do not have an instant attraction.
Well, then that means they earned it honestly, because, you know, not that, you know, instant attraction is the business and everyone loves it and it's fun to read. But sometimes it's like people that have been your friend for a long time, or someone not so obvious turns out to be, you know, the one. So that's always fun. So being that Maggie and John have a relationship at some point, is there any heat between them at all eventually by the end of the book, or are we still kind of like,
there's a little bit of heat by the end of the book. There's nothing like really sexy or anything in the book. Maggie's fork in the road. You'll learn more about their relationship. Maggie's way really is Maggie trying to put her life together. Not only does she have a cancer, she also has a personal issue with her husband. And it's quite different. And she, you know, obviously he's her ex-husband. But she's trying to, like, figure out, like, how, you know, what do I do now in life?
Okay, well, it sounds like Maggie has a lot of evolving going on during this book. Like, so that's good. You know, I love good character development. So it sounds like she's got it. She's got a lot of things to deal with.
Yeah, her plate's pretty full.
So moving on to your next book in the series, you mentioned that at some point the characters moved from Michigan to Montana. So what kind of made you go the route of Montana versus somewhere else?
When I knew that John's father was going to be a rancher, I did a little bit of investigating, like ranches out west. I looked in Arizona, I looked in Texas, and then I looked at Montana photos, and I'm like, oh, that is truly it. And I do have this sliver of remembrance of being a child and going through Montana. And remembering how pretty it was there. So that's why I chose Montana.
Well, being that, you know, it's someplace you're not really familiar with, did you have any struggles with researching, you know, about ranching or the area or, you know, anything like that, and bringing that next story to be?
I actually went out to Montana before the second story was finished with my son. And we did a little investigating, and we rode, and we learned how to fly fish, and we talked ranchers, and it was the best kind of research ever. And I've been there last summer I went as well, so I got to continue my research.
That's awesome, actually, to kind of like be there and tactile, you know, with horses and like in that environment altogether. You really probably got a real sense of what it would feel like for Maggie from Michigan to go to some place like that. So that's kind of cool, actually.
Yep. I grew up riding. We rode English, and I haven't ridden in a long time. So I was like, oh, I got to get back on a horse. And I just loved it. It was fantastic. And the land is incredible.
Oh, that's awesome. So, okay, so we know that Maggie's Fork is coming, but do we have any timing on the release date of that?
Well, I just received an email not too long ago that said Maggie's Fork in the Road will be up for pre-order June 15th on Amazon. And the release date is scheduled for June 29th.
Oh, excellent. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So, okay, so is there anything else you want to share with the readers about this series or trilogy overall, or about, book one specifically?
I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. I do have a cover if you'd like to see the cover of the second book.
Yes, actually show us, if you have them both, show us both if you have them.
Well, I have Maggie's Way right here.
Okay.
And here's my cover for Maggie's Fork in the Road. You can see Chloe.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you can see it, but Maggie's got a purple cat in her hand, and the purple cat's name is Voodoo. Voodoo has kind of a big part for being a stuffed animal. So there's the second cover. And the third one is on its way.
Fabulous. So you designed your cover art?
I did not. It was actually somebody from Soulmate Publishing, Seneca.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's cool. So you got to give a little bit of feedback on what you wanted, or she just kind of read the book and generated it, or how did that go? I've always been curious.
With Soulmate, we actually have a questionnaire that we fill out, and we can say what we want to see, what we don't want to see, give details, talk about things that are important in the book, and they kind of go from that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, that's cool. I like your cover art. It's nice. It definitely does make me feel like the focus is going to be Maggie and Chloe as well in the second book. I feel a little bad for John. He's like off to the left somewhere.
He's not too lost.
Okay, well, that's good.
Characters thrown in there too. I always tell people it's a cast of misfits waiting to steal your heart.
Oh, that's cute.
Everybody's flawed, and just the way that they come together and trying to overcome their own battles in life, they just form this bond that helps them find their way. And and just get comfortable, like in real life, something happens and it's not so comfortable anymore.
Oh, yeah, well, that's definitely realistic, because there's always a curveball somewhere, always.
Got that right.
Yeah. All righty. So, there's always writers in the audience, and they always love some good advice. So being that you've written a few books, would you like to share any advice with the aspiring writers out there?
I guess I'd like to say, keep writing, even if it takes a while, because it definitely took me a while to find my voice. And once I did, things just clicked for me. So keep writing. Don't give up. Be fierce, follow your heart.
Oh, that's great advice. That's wonderful. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Rust City, which is right around the corner. It's going to be here before we know it.
I know.
I know. So tell me, what are you looking forward to most about this book con?
Well, I'm looking forward to meeting other authors from the area and getting to be with my writing pals from the Greater Detroit chapter of RWA, because I know quite a few of them are going. So for me, it's interesting to learn about other people and how the process works for them, and learn some new tricks of the trade maybe, and find some new authors to read.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I always like to when I go to book cons, it is a good chance to actually talk to authors and find out, what their books are about. And actually, it may make you pick up a book you might not have without, meeting the author. You might find something amazing. So that's always a good thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's see, panels. There are going to be tons of panels going on at Rust City. I mean, have you seen that extensive list of available panels yet?
I have not. I don't know if, like, the email escaped me or if it's lost somewhere in my, cyber mail, but I have not seen the panels, but I'm anxious to because, I'm ready to sign up for one.
Okay, well, I will reach out and make sure you get a copy of that. I know that for a minute she was still looking for suggestions for panels, so I don't know if there's anything that you're interested in. Yeah, call it out, because I think the panels will be so exciting to see, especially if you get on panels with people you already know and you're friends with. It could be a lot of fun. So
yeah,
sounds good.
Fun to play off of each other.
Exactly. So we know you're local to Michigan, so I think we'll have a few out of towners. Actually, I've talked to a few authors that are from out of town. So I don't know, are you a foodie? What kind of things do you like locally?
Locally, I like the restaurants of Royal Oak. I like the restaurant Birmingham. Like Somerset Mall. That'll be close to where we are going to be. And I love art. So anything to do with art, the DIA, exhibit going on down there.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff going on in the summertime, or end of summer, technically. Yeah, that's almost end of summer. So outside of Rush City, are you doing any other events during the summer?
I am. I'm headed to Holland on July 9th for the Tulip author event. And I'm going to go to Burr Oak, Michigan, which is near Sturgis. They've invited me to come to their Heritage Festival and sign. I'm pretty excited about that. I think they're going to put me like in a vintage dress shop or something. It sounds really fun.
Wow, that's really unique. That's different.
I mean, I'm up for anything. And then I'll be at Rusty.
Yeah. Wow, you've got a busy summer.
Dude, just the way I like it,
Yeah. So are you going to have only Maggie's Way to sign, or are you going to have your second book that comes out in June as well?
Maggie's Way for sure. And I'm hoping that Maggie's Fork in the Road is in print by then. It comes out in ebook first, print on demand, and it'll be close. If I can get it, I'll have it there with me.
Okay, great. Well, I look forward to it. I look forward to meeting you in person. Yeah, it's been really fun. So do you have anything you'd like to share with the audience at large, with anything that you have going on before we jump into the lightning round?
No, if anybody wants to contact me, my website is lindabradleyauthor.com. And I'm just really excited to get my stories out there. And I hope people enjoy them.
Oh, that's great. So you guys, I have all of Linda's links below. You can find her on Facebook and Twitter and her website that she just mentioned. I also have buy links for her books and a pre-order link from Amazon. If I can find one, I'll put that down there as well. So if you're interested in any of that, feel free to click around down there and follow her, okay? So we are going to jump into the infamous lightning round, 60 seconds of fun questions. Are you ready?
I am so ready. I've been waiting for this. I love games.
Okay. Okay, fabulous. So I'm going to run down the rules right quick for the audience, just in case they haven't watched this segment before. But it's basically a really easy, fun questions. Some are A and B questions. You have to answer one or the other. You can't say both or neither. And then we also have open-ended questions, which, kind of just let us get to know you a little bit more. So that is it. And I have my little phone here to time it, because otherwise I'll just be asking questions over questions. You're like, oh, how long has it been? And I'll just go on a tangent. So we have our timer. And if you are ready, Linda.
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. All right, let's go. Name your favorite food.
Spaghetti.
I can't hear you. Sorry.
Spaghetti?
Spaghetti. Okay. Audiobook or bookish podcast?
You cut out, so I'm not really sure what you said. Can you repeat that?
Audiobook or bookish podcast?
Audiobook.
Physical book or ebook?
Physical book.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Hero or villain?
Hero.
Where's your favorite place to read?
On my porch.
Oh, nice. Series or standalone books?
Series.
Immortal gods or fairies?
Ooh, fairies for sure.
Mm-hmm. Cliffhanger or realistic ending?
Realistic ending.
Let's see. One more. We have time for one more. Beach or the mountains?
Oh, I'm going to go with beach.
Yes, I like the beach too. See, that was easy and painless.
Because I love a boat so much.
Oh, well, thank you for doing that. It was fun. So before we go, anything else you want to share with the audience before we sign off?
No, I hope to see y'all at Rust City. Come stop by and say hello, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody there.
Okay. Well, thank you for watching, everyone. As I mentioned earlier, all of Linda's links are below. Please like and share this video with your bookish friends. Before you go, please subscribe so you don't miss a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy reading. Bye, guys.